Right, guys, Arsenal have just beaten Chelsea by 4 goals to 2 at Stamford Bridge. And yeah, it was a really good game to watch. Full of goals, 6 goals, obviously. And it started off early with Eddie Nketiah getting the first of the game for Arsenal. Just a terrible mistake by Andreas Christensen. But nonetheless, it was good pressing by, good pressure by Nketiah to, force the error. And when he did get the ball through on goal, he still took the chance really well. And because it wasn't the easiest opportunity ever, he still had to carry the ball a few yards and face a one-on-one with Edouard Mendy. But he slid it away and made it 1-0. But then Chelsea equalised it. It was a bit of a lucky goal. Timo Werner cutting in from the left and got a shot off. A big deflection off, I think it was Granit Xhaka. And Ramsdale was sort of flat-footed, but it wasn't his fault. He's seen that it's taken a deflection, so it's given him a lot less time to react. So it's sort of like he's gone to move, but then he's had to stop, and then it's hard to move again once you do that. So nothing anyone could really do about that for Arsenal, to be honest. And they responded again. I've still got COVID, by the way. There was a bit of a defensive moment of just confusion from everyone in the Arsenal defence, and then Granit Xhaka decides to turn into blimmin' Neymar at the back and does a couple of nutmegs on 2 Chelsea players before playing it out to Odegaard, who played it forward to Saka. And then Saka then played it to Smith Rowe, and Smith Rowe produced a superb finish on the edge of the box, opening his body up and side-footing it with a lot of pace into the bottom right corner. Really good finish, really good team goal, in terms of how quick they went from defence to attack by Arsenal. Once again, Chelsea managed to make it even, and it came from a throw-in down the left-hand side, and Arsenal managed to win the ball back, but then Ben White sort of ran with it into trouble. He got fouled, but the ball he'd already lost the ball by that time, sort of, if that makes sense. I thought it was a foul, to be honest, but Mason Mount continued, whipped it in, and Azpilicueta produced a superb finish, to be fair, for a player who is a centre-back or right-back for most of his career. Really good finish to make it 2-2 at half-time. And then into the second half, it's taken a while for me to go through all these goals. Eddie Nketiah got his third again, a really poor defensive goal to concede from Chelsea. Malang Sarr this time was the one mostly at fault. Really good control by Nketiah to turn it Thiago Silva inside out. But then he'd sort of lost it, and with Sarr just getting in the way of everything. In the wrong sense, not in the good sense for a defender. He made it fall to Nketiah, and he managed to stab it past Mendy and make it 3-2. And the final Arsenal goal came from a stupid penalty given away by Azpilicueta. He wasn't even looking at the ball or where the cross was coming from. He was more focused on just grabbing Saka around the waist and pulling him down. Just ridiculous moments from Azpilicueta, and Saka tucked away the penalty. And to be honest, I'm quite glad the penalty was given there, because Azpilicueta is the sort of player you'd love to have on your team, don't get me wrong. He's a brilliant leader for Chelsea and has been one of their best servants in the past 20 years, I think it's fair to say. When you think about it, he's been there, a decade now, and in that time they've won the champion, and he's been a constant in the starting 11 for the majority of the time. He's won Champions League, Europa League twice, a couple of Premier Leagues, and an FA Cup, and also I think, yeah, he's won a League Cup as well. So that's quite a trophy haul. But he does have moments in him where he can just do something and you think he's got away with that there. And most of the time he does get away with it. So I'm quite glad for once he got picked up on it. Bloody hell. Jesus Christ, my throat. Where was I? Oh yeah, the penalty. Yeah, Saka tucked it away nicely, and I thought one player who had quite a good game tonight. In fact, two actually. In midfield for Arsenal, I thought Mohamed El-Neni and Granit Xhaka put in two really good performances. I just think with Granit Xhaka, I think he's a good player. He has a bad game every month or so. If he plays 5 games, usually he'll have one game that's a bad game. But I don't think he's a bad player. And I think he's one of those players who the media tried to target because he has got a reputation. And I think it is a bit unfair. Like, don't get me wrong, he has moments where he does something brainless. Who I'd compare him to is when Liverpool had Dejan Lovren. Lovren for Liverpool generally was a good player, good centre-back, and played an important role in Liverpool reaching the 2018 Champions League final. But every 4 or 5 games he'd have a bad game. But then the rest of those games, he'd put in at least a 7 or 8 out of 10 performance. So he's just one of those players, I think, Granit Xhaka. But yeah, my throat really is starting to go here. So I'm going to have to end this video. What I will say, though, is Chelsea, if Rudiger and if Rudiger and Azpilicueta do go in the summer, I think they've got real problems because I really don't think Malang Sarr's up to the level. Thiago Silva's got limited amount of time left in him. So that they are going to be struggling, I think, in the future defensively if they can't bring someone in this summer. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.